Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. If Ukraine front moves into Russia, Zelensky claims that he will lose all support from his masters. That means he's unauthorized to do that, and I can only imagine why. That is because Putin told them, if it moves here, we're going to use any means necessary to destroy you. That is, these guys, through the back channels, probably Putin told them, I'm not kidding. And he already said that, I'm not bluffing. If you guys come over, I'm going to use any means in our arsenal, which is nuclear weapons. And I think these guys got that message, told the weasel, okay, off limits. And I wonder what, they probably want to push as far as to the border if they get to how it was before February 24th, 2022. But then we have a problem. These guys want to liberate, quote unquote, people that don't want to be liberated. That's my problem. What are you going to do with those guys? Zelensky had suggested, had a suggestion saying that they should just leave. That's what he said. If you feel for another country as well, or you should go over there. That's what he said. If you remember his statements, it's like, for instance, let's say you have a Mexican American, and he said, "Well, I like Mexico. No, that's my country. That my old country of origin." Some of them have flags with Mexico, T-shirts with Mexico. They speak Spanish and so on. Well, imagine that a U.S. president will tell a Mexican origin, well, if you feel that way, then you should. How would that be perceived? Obviously, none of your business. It doesn't mean that I'm not gonna have allegiance for this country. That's a different story. But anyway, in that case, he's talking with It's just. Anyway, let me show you what Zelensky said, because this comes from Zelensky. Zelensky comes and says, if we move the front into Russia, we're going to be left alone. I think for that reason. Boom, boom, para-pam. The thing is, let's read this article first. Coming from the Kiev Independent, Sunday, August 27, 2023. Zelensky says, Ukraine risks losing support from some major powers, is not what he said, if battlefield moves to Russian territory. I'm going to quote him down here. What exactly he said. My point is this. Isn't the front on the so-called Russian territory as we speak? Because Russia, remember, incorporated those territories already, so that they are part of Russia. So the war is, whenever the Ukrainians, I said this when the Russians claimed once those territories will be part of Russia legally by their laws, by whatever vote and they do over there, and they did it. I said once they do that, that means they will be part of Russia. So any attack there, it will be like you attack Moscow. So what are these guys talking about? They're already fighting in Russia. Whatever it's like attacking Russia right now from the Russian perspective. Right? Because it's our territory, we voted, this is the border, and we're still fighting with you. So you technically are in our country. So then what, you don't consider that part as your country yet? So that's why it's halfway. Or you're going to consider it only when they go to, the borders prior to not even February, February 2022, because they want to get Crimea as well. So let's go to what? 19, let's say 2013, which was before Crimea was brought back into Russia. So by a referendum of the people, majority rules, freedom, power to the people. When it works their way, yes. When it works against them, their interest, nah. We know how they work. So technically, right now, Russia could claim, well, you are on our territory, we could destroy you, but I must break you. Remember, like Rocky 4, was it? Or 3? With 3, 4? I can't remember. Anyway, too long ago. And he says here, this is what Kiev Independent says, not his quote. Ukraine risks losing military support from some, quote-unquote, major powers if the battlefield in Russia's war against Ukraine moves to Russian territory. President Volodymyr Zelensky said in an interview on August 27. So he refers to the territory they used to have before 2013, before the coup of 2014. When asked whether he thinks the war should move to Russia, Zelensky said, and I'm quoting now, "It is a big risk that we, Ukraine, will definitely be left alone." Hey, left alone meaning nobody with us. It's not from some. Some, that means some will leave, some will not. Here said will definitely, 100%, definitely that's what it is, definitely be left alone. All right, my friends? So, I'm not going to go deeper than this. I'm enough with that one. Like I said, there are big states in our world, very big states from whom there is only one point for which they are not at Russia's side. This is the territorial integrity of the state, blah, blah, blah. Nevertheless, they know. I told you, the West will not challenge Russia into nuclear anything. Anything. Why? Because they have more to lose than Lavrov, Putin, and these guys. Why? Look at the elites that some of them we don't even know. But we know by their control, by their power to change the elites that we know. Sometimes you have an elite, person in the so-called elite, that says something wrong. He just disappears all of a sudden. He's the bad guy, just like a switch. Who are those guys? What are those forces that we don't even know? And remember, those forces are not Zuckerberg or what's his name, Musk. Those could be arrested in 2 hours. If these guys want to paralyze and take over, like clear takeover, with all these guys in an organized fashion, they can in 2 hours, an operation in 2 hours, they go and arrest whomever they want in 2 hours, and they don't have to do it more than not 3,000 people, maybe 1,000 people. Not even. You have to do it with 3 people and give them as an example. That's all you need to do. And the cowards would zip it. I'm talking about the mass media, the politicians, because we have the military coming over. So anyway, my friends, so they will lose all, not some. Do we agree with that? I think, I don't need their approval or anybody's approval to interpret that the way it is. So anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart. I think that's the problem. They're afraid these guys are going to nuke them. They communicate behind everybody. It's a controlled war. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.